Hello everyone, welcome to the Red Men TV. It's the fan interactive show. Liverpool with an away victory coming from behind against LASK to win by 3-1. Poor first half, much better, much more Liverpool second half. But we've seen that already so many times this season. It seems to be that we are a little bit of a slow starting side at the moment, and lots of changes made, big excitement heading into the game with the introduction of Bajcetic in that sort of inverted fullback role, Ben Doak on the right hand side, Ryan Gravenberch getting a full debut through the centre of the pitch as well. So loads of excitement, and I think in the end it was quite all right. Second half introduction, Salah looked good when he comes on, scores a wonder goal and stuff like that, but that's enough of my thoughts. I'll get them as we go through the video, of course. I'm going to get stuck into our Discord comments, I'm going to get into the Twitter comments and the YouTube comments, and we'll talk about phases of the game and players in the game as we go throughout the course of the show. If you want to get involved and you're a YouTube member, use the YouTube chat, of course. Thank you very much for that. So I'm going to start over on Discord on my laptop. Castiet says, slow start but routine, win in the end. Nunez is looking better each game and Sobo is fucking magic. Can't disagree with that. Nunez does look better each game. Those penetrating runs in behind were a constant thorn in the side of LASK throughout the course of the game. Mousy would have been a clean sheet if someone didn't have to say it. So Dan Club called this one as a 3-1. Quad Bod says, just a quick one as I got to work, but Keller was great tonight. For a guy who plays so infrequently, what a keeper in every sense of the phrase. Yeah, Quad Bod, he really is, and he's just so calm, isn't he? His distribution's good, his shot stopping's really good, he just knows how to play the role, and we've got an absolute keeper there, haven't we, in that number 2, and I'd say he's probably the best number 2 we've ever had, to be honest with you, the level that he's able to play at. It's unfortunate for him that at this time Alisson's the best number 1 we've had in my lifetime, certainly, so Alisson's just not getting moved anywhere, but Keller is Mr. Dependable, and we know he can win a shootout as well. Scott T, second half was great, not too much to complain about into the second half, on to the weekend, and it's obviously a big game against West Ham, and I think they're about to start their Europa League campaign very shortly, actually, so we'll have to keep an eye out over on them and the team that they play, but they'll be going big and going hard for this Europa League, obviously, as the reigning Conference League champions and stuff, so it's going to be interesting for them, and it's only a couple of hours extra break, but Liverpool will be happier with that, of course, that we haven't played so soon. So, I mean, one of the players that I wanted to talk about and get me your comments, obviously James Lynn has just put one in actually in the YouTube comments, says Grav looked decent, and yeah, I think he did, didn't he? And first half, pass completion was quite low, a couple of sloppy passes from Ryan Gravenberch, but there's an excitement there because he likes to drive at teams. When he gets that ball in the middle of the park, his first sort of instinct is run at them and see where we go. And he did that a few times, and it was one of the ones in the second half just before he comes off injured. Actually, we'll talk about that a little bit as well. Where it's a really penetrative run again. He's got 2 options and he picks the wrong option. Maybe he should have just taken it on and shot in the end. But that one where he assists the second goal for Luis Diaz is absolutely fucking outstanding, isn't it? First time ball on the right hand side, whips the ball in, it's inch perfect. Luis Diaz whips it into the top of the net through the keeper's hands. I mean, it was absolutely pinpoint from Ryan Gravenberch, and I'm excited to see excuse me, I'm excited to see what he can bring in a red shirt, because that for me was a really, really good debut. Obviously it's not the full performance that you want to see from minute 1 to minute 90 or whatever, and obviously it's tempered by the fact that it looked like he picked up a little injury at the end and didn't look great walking off and stuff, but ultimately it looks like I can see what we've got there, and I can hang my hat on something and say we've got a bit of a player there. Hopefully the injury isn't a bad one, and hopefully it doesn't set him back too much, but he looks like he'll be able to get minutes this season, deservedly so. I mean, he's an attacking player, he wants to drive forwards, and I think Liverpool have got a good one in Ryan Gravenberch. Football Factory says, maybe getting a little bit ahead of himself, Gravenberch is better than Bellingham. Yeah, absolutely. James Lim said good passing and turns as well. So that's wicked about Ryan Gravenberch, of course. And I think that's it. It's a good showing for him, obviously, you know, as I mentioned before, a couple of little sloppy passes, but he plays on the turn really well. I really like that in his game, and he's direct, and I like that in his game. And, you know, there is a time and place for slow and steady football and building out slowly from the back. And Ryan Gravenberch doesn't want any part of that. He wants to just drive at you. Luis Diaz was sensational, I thought, at that tonight as well. You know, driving down that left-hand side, really going at his man and cutting inside, hitting the byline, trying to get crosses across. He was the heart and soul of the team for me tonight, Luis Diaz, and, you know, picks up a deserved goal as well. I'm going to get over to a mate of mine in the live show chat in our Discord as well. Johnny Fallon, all good in the end. Minutes in the legs of some players who needed it. A bit frustrating to have to bear with for fans, but think teams always had it under control and could get it back on track. I agree with you. There was a point where it was probably like 52 minutes. When did we score the first goal? Around about 56 minutes was the penalty. About 52 minutes, I was starting to get a little bit frustrated with Liverpool. Like I wasn't really sure what the plan was and all that type of stuff. And in the end, I've got to be honest with you, I thought it was a little bit of a soft penalty to get. And I know there's a lot of people in the chat who thought the same as me. Luis Diaz gets his shot off. Wasn't really impeded by the defender. I was surprised to find out that it was a penalty, but Darwin dispatched with aplomb, didn't he? It was a fantastic penalty. The keeper, to be fair to him, had a good game for LASK, but he had absolutely no chance. He dives the right way, but because of the height and the power on the ball from Darwin Nunez, the keeper just can't get there. You know, it's right into the side net, and it's a height, it's too high, and it's too far away from his middle spot. And Darwin Nunez looked like a penalty taker there. And if you'd have asked me beforehand what I was feeling about Darwin Nunez, I was not feeling that he's a penalty taker because of the way that he rushes shots at times. But again, that's another little confidence boost for him. And I thought he had a good game all game long, really. As I say, just running in behind, and his hold-up play today was probably something that started to set him apart a little bit, actually, over the last couple of games. And we saw it in one of the build-ups to the goal at the weekend, where he holds off a defender, Dawson, I think it was, wasn't it? And brilliant in that regard tonight as well. You know, there's a few times there where, all right, his pass wasn't quite there, but he's starting to use his body and his strength. He's a big guy and he's strong, and I think it's taken him a little bit of time to get used to the physicality of the Premier League. And I know it's not the Premier League tonight and it's LASK, but he did it in the Premier League at the weekend. He did it again, I felt, tonight in an important game for him and for us. And he's starting to look a little bit special at the moment, Darwin Nunez, and that penalty, as I say, was just magnificent. Thomas Doughton says, I think we've got a special group of players. We're winning without really being very good. So, yeah. Do you know what? That's a great point, actually. Obviously, you say it all the time, don't you? It's the form of like champions and stuff like that. You've got to be able to win when you're not playing at your absolute peak. And we didn't play at our peak today, and I don't think we've hit our peak yet this season. It's been a bit of a slow start for us, certainly a slow start in games. And for me, I've got to say that I am excited about this season now because excuse me, the way that we're going about things and our heads aren't dropping and we've got that belief and there's a team chemistry there where they're all believing together that they can get back into this game and win the games of football. That is something to be proud of. It's them mentality monsters, isn't it, that we spoke about so often over the course of Jurgen's tenure at Liverpool Football Club, and he looks like he's instilling that belief that it doesn't matter when or where we are in terms of game, we are always in with a shout of winning the game. And right now, winning breeds winning, and winning is what we're doing. And winning is obviously something that we want Liverpool to be doing week in, week out. Try and say winning that many times fast, that was difficult. Titch Green over in Discord, thank you very much. Good day, all told, so long as Gravenberch is okay. And that is something, isn't it, that we've got to talk about, Titch, because, you know, we don't want to have a setback there for Ryan Gravenberch. And you know, it didn't look too serious, but the way he sat down, he looked a little bit dejected at the time. And I just hope it's nothing too serious, because I'm excited to see this midfield of McAllister and Szoboszlai and Gravenberch, which we got to see for around about 13 minutes of the game. I think the first load of subs, Doak for Szoboszlai, McAllister for Endo, Gomez for Bajcetic was on 61, and if I'm right here, 74 was Gravenberch for Mo. So 13 minutes of McAllister, Szoboszlai and Gravenberch, and what a 13 minutes it was, and what a 13. 13's unlucky, and it was unlucky for one Ryan Gravenberch, unfortunately. Stuart Armstrong over in YouTube, before I get into some of the Twitter comments and stuff, it's mental. As soon as we won the down, I just knew we would win. The quality and depth we have compared to last season is remarkable. Mo looks like he was playing against boys up the fucking Reds. Stuart, you're absolutely right, mate. Mo Salah when he comes on, looked different gravy, didn't he? You know what I mean? The way that he was turning his man inside and out, he'd had a tough afternoon, to be fair, dealing with Ben Doak and his skill set. For him to be able to come into this and just turn a man, that little pass where he's just sort of 1-2'd it between his left foot and his right foot and plays the pass inside. Oh, it's fit as a motherfucker. Absolutely sensational. Phoenix bans from Guzlak. Bajcetic is a baller. Can't wait to see him play 6 in the first 11. Ooh, yeah. Little Bajcetic and Trent Alexander-Arnold double pivot there is exciting, isn't it? Such a young player and yet so good. And I was really impressed with the maturity they showed to be able to play that right back role, where he did pick his moments well when to join the midfield. We didn't really seem to have too many problems with the ball over the top for him to deal with. Maybe they didn't target him in the same way that you would deal with Trent. I think, you know, when they were at their best first half down that left-hand side, they did well, but it wasn't really like a weakness of the ball over the top, and any winger can take on any full-back in world football. That's just the way that it is. You know, they've got the ball at their feet. They know what they're going to do. You have to be reactive as a full-back, and I thought Bajcetic was good. And again, I have to say it, I thought he picked and chose his moments really well of when to move into the middle and when to leave it and stay wide. It's Crossbow says, people laughed at me when I told them Gravenberch would be our Bellingham. He's a baller and 200 million for Salah is not enough. 1 billion minimum. You'll never walk alone, mate. Thomas Doughton says the Gravenberch situation is cramp, I sense. Okay, well, I hope you are right on that. And just going back to its Crossbow super chat. Thanks for the super chat, by the way. I'm not going to get carried away and start calling Gravenberch, Bellingham and all that. Bellingham is next level, generational, etc., etc. He is superb, like, and if Gravenberch can get anywhere close to those levels, we've got a steal for the amount of money that we've paid for him. Absolutely. Twitter then. Lucas Fulham. Awful first half. Many players well below par, either due to fatigue, sharpness, or just underestimating. Fortunately, we had the raw talent to scrape a lead. Then Mo comes on and makes it look easy. You're absolutely spot on. Daniel Gore. Salah looked like he was playing against kids when he came on. Different class. Completely agree with that. There seems to be a running theme over on Twitter about Salah's performance tonight. Dean Foley, 16, massively in love with Szoboszlai. Gravenberch looks some player too. Szoboszlai is just so impressive, isn't it? And I wonder whether I can get up some of Szoboszlai's stats on my iPad. I don't think you'll be able to see this on the screen and stuff, but 92% pass completion, 24 of 26 passes for Dom and 29 minutes played. Wow. 1 chance created. Didn't win many ground duels, only 1 of 5. Didn't win his 1 aerial duel. Oh, you've got it. Well done, Matty. 1 of 1 tackles, 3 ball recoveries, a block, only dribble past once, 33 touches, 7 passes into the final third. And all you need to know about what Dom Szoboszlai is about. He's about getting the ball into the box. He's about creating things. He's stunning to look at. I think we all can agree. He's looked like, as Paul said on TNT Sports, he's chiselled out of marble. He's the perfect midfielder, and I am so excited about Dominic Szoboszlai. I am massively in love with him too, Dean. Brett Kraut, subs really made the difference. Dom and Salah were just levels above everybody else. I can agree. Go straight into super fairy animals. Bendo was a little bit disappointing for me. The guy's clearly got shitloads of talent, but he seems to want to beat the same player 3 or 4 times. Hopefully that goes out of his game before too long, because the boy can clearly play. He very much can play. I don't know whether I disagree with you. I probably do disagree with you. What I want to see and where I probably agree with you, it'll be interesting to find out if you're watching this, is I don't think his end product's quite there yet. I think he's got the skill set to go past players and the pace to go past players with absolute ease at the moment. And, you know, as well, because they've never come up against him, they don't know his little tips and his tricks and all that type of stuff, or his flicks and his tricks, sorry, I should say. It can be difficult for a fullback at times, but I don't think it will matter either. I just think he's so skillful, and it's his shoulders that he just drops and oof, he's gone, you know what I mean? But when he gets to that byline, I want him to pick out a ball. I want him to get a little bit calmer, and that'll come. This is an absolute kid. you can teach him to be calmer. He will naturally the game will slow down a little touch for him as he gets more and more experienced, and he'll start to pick out those right balls more and more often. But the raw ability to go past players, that's what he's got now. So it's only going to be built on. So yeah, one for the future, one for the now is Benzo. Completely believe that. Trevor W. Salah walked onto the pitch knowing he was the best player there, and then he showed it. And you're absolutely spot on. Mo Salah was the best player on the pitch as soon as he walked onto the pitch. Padding on, Endo won't be here for more than the season. Nice name. Let's be real, but Chetic's great when moved into midfield. Elliott played like 3 positions and boss all of them. Won't get any praise for the effort he put in, of course. Gravenberch was okay on the ball, but decision-making was lacking too often. Very, very level-headed opinion there on Gravenberch. And yeah, he did at times give the ball away a little bit too easy. That one where he was running through before he comes off injured, I mean, he needs to make the right decision there, but obviously this is a lad who hasn't had a lot of football over the last 18 months, just getting into the rhythm of his game and stuff like that. So yeah, and Elliott, man, just doesn't really disappoint, does he? And he never really has done in a red shirt. You know, I think we all know that he hasn't really got the pace that you want for a winger, which is why he's sort of being converted into a midfielder. But when he played out on that wing, he looked good. He's always offering himself for a pass. He never shirks responsibility. He's always looking to try and get back and help out in a defensive sense. He's always looking for open for a pass, wants the ball at his feet, happy to move it quickly or slowly, whatever the team needs at the exact right time. So Harvey Elliott's going to be a player. He really, really is. And again, just more experience and more minutes this season for him, because I think he'll have felt a little bit disappointed that maybe Kurt's now ahead of him in the pecking order. Obviously, Szoboszlai and McAllister have come in, and, you know, these are players that play in his position. Gakpo's been getting minutes in his position as well. So he'll be disappointed, and, you know, he get the confidence from that own goal that he caused at the weekend. And he should take confidence out of this one as well. Faye, a friend of mine, says 3-1. Who cares? 90 minutes, it was completely fine after the early goal. Agree with you there, Faye. William Henry, nice and short. Onwards, indeed. And onwards, indeed. Because Toulouse and Union Saint-Gilloise actually drew 1-1, which means we're top of the table on 3 points. Toulouse and Union Saint-Gilloise obviously on a point apiece, and LASK right now, the second seeds in the group. And I should talk about LASK really, shouldn't I? Because they were very impressive. Like, completely surprised me. Sorry, I'm just trying to sort of one eye on what's going on in the Brighton game as well. They really did surprise me. I think they tired a little bit towards the end, and, you know, that tiring almost came in at the same time, really, that they had to push on and try and find a winner, and then they were opening up spaces and stuff. But when the game was 0-0 and when they were winning 1-0, I thought they were really, really impressive. I mean, the goal is fucking beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, and you can't ever take that away from him. That was some finish. It was a well-worked corner. They obviously knew he had that in his locker, or they wouldn't have played the corner like that, so fair play to them. But they pressed us really high, and I felt like we were trying to build through the centre of the park where that box is, and we just didn't quite have it all there today. I think Endo was lacking a little bit in defensive midfield for us. Looked a little bit slow and tired towards the end of the game, of course, but that sort of crisp passing wasn't there. Gravenberch's crisp passing wasn't quite there. Elliott was doing it well. Chetic was doing it well when he came into the side. But they pressed us really hard, relentlessly, and made us turn the ball over a lot. So a lot of credit goes to LASK from today's performance, and I'm glad we've got that game out the way, to be honest with you, because they look like a good team. They look like they've got belief that when they're playing at home, they can win games of football. And, you know, the striker gave us the winger, gave us a few little issues with Chetic down the left-hand side. Obviously, that Mustafa looked quite good when he came on and was standing Joe Gomez up later on in the game and stuff. So, yeah, they're a good side, man, and they'll win points. And, you know, that probably bodes well for us in this group, because I think they might be better than Gilloise and Toulouse. And if they're not, shit, because we might have got ourselves into quite a tough little group. But I would have expected Liverpool to win this game. I did expect Liverpool to win this game, and we did win this game. It's just by Harvey Elliott, if you will, impressed me. He was just finding every second ball. Works so hard, doesn't he? Kelleher's distribution was crazy too. Looked like he was Trent in goal. So confident, so confident on the edge. Endo and Tsimikas can keep this and the League Cup as they're not getting any league games. Hope Grav is okay. I completely agree. We need Gravenberch to be okay after this one, don't we? Obviously, we've got strength in depth now. The bench, you know, we saw that from the bench, didn't we? But yeah, really, really hoping that he is okay and it's not a desperately bad injury. Kenny on Gravenberch says in Discord on my laptop, once Gravenberch sorts out his final ball, he's going to be a world beater. I need to take that off the screen, sorry, don't I? Yeah, I done it. Yay, you can go over to the Twitter now, mate. Yeah, once Gravenberch sorts out his final ball, he's going to be a world beater. Barry K says, happy with that. Sluggish first half, but can't complain about conceding from a shot like that. Good start for Gravenberch. Job done. Yeah, agreed. Red Assassin. Mo just looks like he has a chip on his shoulder this season, doesn't he? I was half expecting Mo, the creator, to play that ball across to Harvey Elliott, or maybe, I can't remember who was there, was it Luis Diaz or whatever? He didn't. He decided, I'm going to rip me man, I'm going to meg the keeper with a little toe poke because I'm one of the best players in the world football. And he did, just that, which is fantastic, isn't it? Gravenberch is some players at Howsey, it's David. Diesel made it difficult for ourselves in the first half, but recovered well, second overall. Gravenberch hopefully nothing too serious, moments of real class. And Abe, Salah and Soboslai just better. I hate playing on Thursdays. But Bajcetic and Endo looked rough. Gravenberch looked encouraging. I'll probably never think about that game again. You might have to, because it might be the start of something special for Ryan Gravenberch. Obviously, it's his first start for Liverpool. It's his first assist for Liverpool. That ball, though, man, I mean, it really was just fucking sensational, wasn't it? It really was. Some of the other players that I want to talk about, actually. One of them is Kostas Tsimikas. I think he's been an able deputy now for a couple of years for Andrew Robertson. But I do feel like when he comes onto the field, he's got some really good qualities, you know. He's able to whip a fantastic ball in from a set piece, corner or a free kick. Absolutely sensational at delivering those in. Probably better than Robertson. Not quite as good as Trent Alexander-Arnold, but very, very good. But when he gets the ball in the sort of final third for Liverpool, I just feel like he's a bit tepid and slow in possession, and I think he finds it too easy to turn back and play the ball to the centre half when there are passes open. I've got no problem with people playing the ball slowly around and chipping out and opening in their sort of defensive structure. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of NFL the last couple of weeks. But I feel like he always takes the easy ball, and there are times, oh my God, have Athens just scored against Brighton? They have, wow. I feel like he's just, there's passes there and he still chooses not to play them. I don't think from a defensive sense he was particularly fantastic tonight as well. We'll do all this on the player rankings, of course, anyway. Bajcetic's getting on a yellow card early doors was a little bit of a struggle for us as well. Obviously, with him and Kanate being on yellow cards probably did facilitate them to both being subbed off in the second half. He didn't want anything crazy to happen in terms of a cheap yellow card and therefore a red card for either one of those players. I think we need to talk about McAllister coming in and just settling the team down, as he's just so good at that, of course. And other than that, I think Endo's the big talking point for me. I don't really know where to start. He has been brought in to do a job. I think Bajcetic is the next in line to be the DM, if I'm honest, behind who right now? Is it Bajcetic's job when he's fit? Or is it McAllister's job? Or are there certain games when Endo can come in? Because I would have expected him to play better than he played tonight, to be honest with you. This is a very experienced player. And unfortunately, I don't know whether it's a fitness thing or whether it's just he needs experience in the side, whether this is just very, very different for him because of the box midfield and all that. But I am a little touch disappointed with Endo because I think he had the skill set to be able to do something, but his pace it's a concern for me. And I think maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on him. Maybe I am. But he plays for us, so I'll support him. Of course I will. But yeah, I'm not feeling it at the moment, and I feel bad saying it after just a couple of games. But yeah, Scouser Wannabe83 wants to talk about Doak in Discord. Doak just has that young enthusiasm where it's head down and run, and then not looking up. That'll come with time though. If you look at Mo's runs, he runs with his head up, always looking for a pass. Hard to do, but to think Doak can only get better is scary. Agree with that. Agree with that completely, mate. And Howdy, it's David says, I like to win. Win, 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 and win, win breeds win, 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 win. Just win, baby. Okay, so there you go. Matty, can you open the chat up to everybody, mate? Is that possible? Do you know how to do that, mate? Etam Al-Hushan has just come in. Darwin giving El Nino regen vibes. Torres Mark II. Ooh. New first teamer there. Do you know how to do it, Matty? Yeah? He's right. We're going to open the chat up to everybody now. We'll get in there. We'll get to see what you guys want to talk about as well and stuff like that. So, yeah, thank you very much. Much appreciated, of course, for bearing with us on this one. Members only mode is now off. Everybody can get their chats in. I want to get everybody talking to me now for the last sort of 5-10 minutes maybe of this stream. And Athens, by the way, are 1-0 up against Brighton Hove Albion. Anfield Dad, evening guys. Michael Borgwine, get in. Matthew McGrosty, whoop. So Ibrahim Bukhari, so who's the man of the match? I'm going to do this one on the player rankings videos a little bit later on. Yeah, I will. Vinny says, great win, evening guys. Young Metro joke man, Salah is the best forward in the world. So complete, so electric, so disrespectful. The commentary around them, even from a minority of fans. Interesting. Great decision opening the chat, says Nathan Mace. I do this every time. I like to be able to get to speak to everybody, of course. Obviously, you've got a chance to get involved in Twitter and stuff. Liam Blumeris says, do you think Nunez will start against West Ham after a full 90? Ooh. I'd like him to start. It's not a major travel, is it, over to Austria? And I think that's probably a good thing. You know, I think at times, sometimes people can get the coach down to London and whatever. I think there was a bit of backlash over flights and stuff like that, wasn't there, when they've done that a couple of times, maybe down to Brighton and stuff. Like, it's not a long travel, and the fact that it was an early kickoff really helps us here. Like, the lads could be home by friggin' 10. The lads could be home before me, you know what I mean? By about 10:30, the lads could be home. I think I'd like to see Nunez start regardless, because right now he seems to be the forward that's in form the most. Play the hot hand, you know what I mean? That's what it comes down to, isn't it? Kevin Akadi from Kenya. Wow. I hope Gravenberch isn't injured. Thank you for joining us all the way from Kenya. I love your corner of the world. I've never been to Kenya. I went on my honeymoon to Rwanda, Uganda and Tanzania, and I had some of the best few weeks of my life over there. Such great people. Absolutely fantastic time over there. I'd love to go to Kenya one day, and I will go to Kenya one day. And I'll buy you a pint if I ever see you, Kevin. If you ever come over to Liverpool as well, we can meet up and have a pint before the match. Salah is the GOAT, says Mohammed. Elliott was phenomenal. Agreed. James Lim. Nice to get some minutes into the Van Dijk's legs without him doing anything. He didn't have too much to do. Nathan May says, love watching you two guys in the watch on. Thank you so much, Nathan. Really good, really good. Was that a show me the money moment from Flekker, says Wobbly Banana? I think it was. It was some goal, that, wasn't it? Kay Flynn says, Nunez was the man of the match with me. Thought Diaz was very good and Nunez cost us an endo. Disappointing, though. That's interesting, Lucy. I'm surprised that you're the first person that's been a little bit... disappointed in Darwin Nunez. Costas and Endo, I agree with, but Nunez, no, I was all right with Nunez. Obviously, great penalty. Howdy, it's David in our Discord. Thinks I'm being harsh. Fair. Touch unfair to Endo. He looked behind the play a bit, but he hasn't played with this group of players at all. Time was off. Effort was there. Think he just needs a bit of time. David, I hope you're right. I really do, mate. I really do. When Sobo touches the ball, the world stands up, says official Cam LFC. It's in the game. Tonight shows how far we are from being able to let him go to Saudi. Ooh. Ooh, there's a thinker of a comment, isn't it? We don't have to play at the club. That's for certain, and it's going to be very, very hard to replace Mo regardless. Whenever it happens, it's going to be difficult to replace Mo Salah. And I don't think, if I'm being totally honest with you, I don't think one player can replace Mo. I don't think you're going to find a right winger, left-footed right winger, who scored the goals that Mo scored for us over the last 5 seasons. I just don't think it's possible. So I want, when Mo goes, more creativity from everywhere else. So I need Sobo to step up. I need McAllister, when we finally get him into that sort of advanced state role, to step up with goals and assists. I want more goals, more assists from Luis Diaz. I need 30 from Nunez if Salah's going to go. And we need to find somebody in there who can get maybe Mane levels of output, which is fucking world class as well, by the way. It's just not going to be. There isn't a player to replace Mo Salah. There isn't. But we're going to have to do it eventually anyway. Samurai says, reckon it'd be the Jota, Gakpo, Salah for Sunday. Also, McAllister seems like our best 6 right now. Do agree. He does look like our best 6. Jota, Gakpo and Salah. I mean, that would make perfect sense, wouldn't it? Because they're the 3 lads who didn't start the game of football tonight. Salah's going to play. I think we can guarantee that. But I would play the hot hand in Nunez. I believe I would. Craig Flynn, Jared Bowen is good, but not on Salah levels. Obviously, that's a bit of a conversation going on. Phil Connell says Diaz was great tonight. I agree with you. I think Diaz was great. Michael Fox agrees with me. I don't think we'll replace Salah 1-to-1. Rather change the system altogether. Alfex. Mo Salah is a generational talent, so hard to replace. Mikas to Michael says, what's the update on Thiago? I have no update on Thiago, to be honest with you. I just know that he wasn't in the squad for this one. Soham says Salah is irreplaceable. Completely agree. Andy, any chance Salah signs a new contract? Extra 2 years, please. Irreplaceable. Yeah, completely agree with that as well. Right, I've got the player rankings show to do. So in about 8:30, I'm going to be back with the player rankings. Big thanks to everybody who's joined as a member today, super chatted us, liked the streams, commented for joining me and Dan and Chloe tonight. I've got one more video in the player rankings, so we've got loads of content going out on Redmen Plus as well. We've got the instant match reaction, four-man show being recorded right now. In fact, it's being streamed right now to the website, because we do this in multiple places now. If you want more Redmen content, then get on it. redmenplus.com. Just give it a chance. Try it for a month. If you don't like it, fuck it off. If you do like it, keep it. What I will promise you is it's good content we make over there, in-depth content. Real Liverpool fans making real content for Liverpool fans. Thank you so much for tonight. I'll see you in about 10 minutes over at the player rankings board. That's
Thank you so very, very much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. The season is now well underway. If you need extra Redmen content, be it podcast, videos, documentaries, interviews, and general shows, fill your boots on redmenplus.com today.